Hello, hello, hello. Hello. She's at the door. Hello, Mary. Good seeing you. Destiny Smith. Good seeing you. Dorothy Smith. I'm in the process of ready to do a clipper cut. I'm here at the salon today with this young man, Foster. Yes, he's getting a fade. He's getting a high fade. So we're gonna get him hooked up on a clipper cut. Okay? All right, you all continue to just come on in. Love to see all of you. Hello, 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 life changers. We're going to do a clipper cut. Yes, a clipper cut. And this is his head. This is his head. This is what his head looks like. And so we're gonna cut him all the way down. We're gonna cut him all the way down. You know what, we probably need to move this chair maybe back a little bit. Can you get up just for a second? Now move it back a little bit this way. No, this way. This way. Okay. Let's try it this way. Okay. Yeah, this is better. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm ready to do a clipper cut right now. Okay? All right, I hope you guys can see me. I tried to set it up where it would be where you guys could kind of see what I'm doing. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a clipper cut right now. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. That little week. It's not too bad. It's got a lot of hair, that's all. I'm doing him a high fade. Yeah, so he's getting a high fade. How's everyone doing today? Everybody doing okay? Good seeing all of you. Yes, thank you for coming on live. I'm doing a clipper cut on Foster. He's getting a high fade, a high skin fade. Yes, thank you for the rose. Thank you for the rose. Yes, so he's getting a high skin fade today. And so that's what we're doing. And what we're doing is what did I use first? I used a number. I used a half to a 0. That was the first thing that I used to get the skin, because he has to have a skin on the bottom. And so then I went
and get that. Could you try again?
Quiet, Siri. But I did a skin on the bottom. That's what I did. I did a skin on the bottom. Hey, beautiful, good seeing you, Miss Farmer. I'm doing a clipper cut here at the salon today. But anyways, yeah, I did a skin on the bottom. That's the first thing that I did, was a skin on the bottom. And then I'm coming back in. And what I'm going to do too is he has a hard part. So I'm going to set, because his hard part, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but his hard part is missing because his hair is grown out excessively. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put his hard part back in his hair as well. Okay? So I'm going to be doing that. Yeah, good seeing you too. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a clipper cut. This is one of my clients, Foster, that gets his hair cut. Okay, you're more than welcome. And so what you have to do too is you have to adjust, because all hair is not the same. Okay? So then what you have to do is you have to adjust your blades according to what you need to acquire the look that you're trying to get. Like you guys can see the line. You can see that line that I did. I'm going to fade out all of that line in his head and give him a nice smooth fade. So all of that's going to be gone here in a minute. But right now I'm just working on getting a good blend in his interior, in this area. So that's what I'm working on. So I'm doing my blade adjustments, because in some places, in some of the places of the hair, some hair is thicker, and then some hair is thinner in some places. So it's imperative to adjust your blade guards. And then I'm going to line him up. I'm going to line him up on the sides, and then the way that he wears his hair, which a lot of the guys wear their hair like that these days around here. Instead of getting rid of all of this, I'm going to edge this all out and then do a hard part. And then I'm going to edge him all the way from here, all the way crown to the sides. So we're going to do edging too. Yes, I'm going to hide the line. Matter of fact, I'm not going to hide the line. I'm going to get rid of the line, okay? We're not going to have any line, okay? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use comb over clipper, okay? I do clippers, but I do comb over clipper too, because when I go in, it helps me to see, because like I said, in some regards, some of the hair is going to be thicker and thinner in certain areas. And so to make sure that there's a true blend, I usually come back in, even though I'm using the clippers, I come back in with a comb. And then I use comb over clipper, okay? And so what I do is I lift the hair up. And I go through and I just make sure, because once I bring that hair to the surface, it's going to let me see what needs to be cut off anyways, once I bring it to the surface. And see, and it's imperative that I do it this way, because I need to make I need to bring his hard part back in here. I need to make sure that we're getting his hard part back in here. So these edges need to be in a certain way. Okay. And then sometimes when you're working that close and you're needing to do a hard part, it's best to maybe take some spray bottle, and spray that edge, so that way you can get a precise, clear, and get that hair, all that little excess hair out of the way. So you want to do that, and then you can see better. So now I can actually see better of what I need to do with these clippers over comb. Okay, hold your head. And I always have them to hold their head down, so that way I can see that edge, because when I go back in and I'm going to do this hard part, I need this to be clean as much as possible. Okay. And so then what I usually do is I will even take their faces and I'll turn their face toward me so I can see. So I can see where the actual areas that need just a little bit more to it. Just a little tap, not that much, just a little tap down. And you want to make sure that the blend, even though I've cut in here in the interior with the clippers, but it's still good to go back with the comb over clippers, and just kind of like briefly go over inside the interior to make sure that it's pretty much even. You're going to be able to see if it's not even when you go back through. You'll be able to see it with the clip over comb. And so his edge is running this way all the way to the very top of the crown of his head. So we have this little bit here that's just a little bit, it's growing out. It's growing up and out just like that. So what I need to do is I need to take the clipper over comb and just gracefully, not a lot, just gracefully, and use my edge. Use the edge of your clippers. And just gracefully just hit that little part right there. So that way, as his hair grows out, that area won't get just so outrageous. And it won't look like it belongs because it's grown out so separately. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead on, now that I've done that part, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him to hold his head down, and then I'm going to take the comb once again, and I'm going to hold the comb over, like so, and then I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to make that line. I'm going to clean that line all the way up. I'm going to take the comb and hold the comb. I'm going to pick that hair up with the comb. And I'm going to take that comb and hold that hair down, so that way I can get a true defined cut on that line. She's at the door. And so we're going to get a true cut. And sometimes it's good to go over the line a couple of times, so that way you can get a good deep cut. Okay? I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
I didn't know which one you wanted. I didn't know which one you wanted, the sweet tea or the raspberry.
This is sweet tea. Okay. And so then we have that. And so I'm going to take I'm gonna take another blade. I'm gonna take the biggest blade that I have, and I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over. You gonna get on the freeway now?
No.
Okay. Where you going? You going to the house?
No, I'm not going back.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll see you later. You still gonna be? Okay. She's gonna lock the door. She'll lock the door. Thanks. They was bringing me some lunch. Appreciate it. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna lower the blade. Okay. And see, sister, I'm going to go out to eat with family, and I will see you tonight. Have a blessed day. Love you too. Hello. Good seeing you. And you guys have fun with your family today. Thank you for the likes too. Thank you guys. Okay. All right. I'm going to have him to hold his head down, because now what I want to do, I did the hard part, but I want the hard part to be really defined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to start grazing that little area. I'm just going to graze that little area. Not a whole lot, just kind of graze over it to make sure that I have all that cleaned up really nice, so his part will look really good. Okay. Because he has a lot of thickness. He has a lot of thickness in this area, right in here. Where the part's at, on the very top, he has a lot of thickness. So I need to just kind of graze over it just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not going all the way in. And I'm going to go all the way in. Okay. Now you guys see that? So it's a lot cleaner. Okay. And then, because he does have a cowlick, meaning that his hair grows in a swervel. He's got a swervel. He's got a swervel in the way that his hair grows. It grows in a circle all the way into his hairline. So what happens is, when that happens, you have these little bitty hairs that will stick straight up. You know, you remember back in the days of Little Rascals, and Alfalfa would have that hair sticking up? That was because he had a cowlick. So most people have a cowlick. A lot of guys have a cowlick in their hair. So what I try to do with that is I just try to take the scissors and just kind of snap them down just a little bit, because I still got to cut the hair. So you just want to do that to make it look neat and clean. And I usually just take the point of the scissors, and I take my time, and I get those cowlicks where they're not so obvious. And then what I do, sometimes I'll take the comb and comb down in the cowlick and pull the cowlick toward me, and then the excess hair that is on there, then I turn around and cut that. That's how I deal with the cowlick. So that way it'll be a nice even cut in his head. And it won't look like that hair doesn't belong. Because that's what happens. That hair separates itself because the way it grows straight up in the air. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on getting the line out. Okay, so you guys see the line. I'm gonna turn him back around so you can see the line. Okay, you see that line. You see that line all the way around his head. Okay, we see that line all the way around his head. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on getting rid of the line. Hello, hello, hello again, life changers. Yes, I'm doing a clipper cut live. So glad to see all of you on. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes and the gifts. Appreciate the gifts. Yes. Oh, thank you for the roses. Appreciate it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my clippers and I'm going to get rid of this line. So I'm going to start working on getting this line done. And then sometimes what I do is I will hold his skin down. Sometimes I'll take my working thumb here, and I'll hold that skin down. So that way I can really get in there and get that line out of there. And he has blonde hair. So guess what? Blonde hair and dark hair shows up more than any hair, okay? So if you have dark hair or blonde hair, that line is gonna show up. You can count on it, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna work on getting this line out of here. And what I try to do too is I try to leave enough room so I can do the blending. So I don't want to go up. If I'm going to do a high fade, I'm not going to go all the way up to the height of the high fade. I'm going to go down a little lower so that way I'll have blending room, okay? Because you got to have blending room. Because like I said, you're dealing with the hair and the interior of the hair. Some parts are like a little bit thicker than others. So when you're dealing with that, you have to be mindful, because you're gonna need the room to actually do the blend. I always say that there's method to my madness. But it works. He's been happy about it. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. He's holding me true, isn't he? He's not playing today. And this is one of my spoiled babies in the first place. I just want to let you guys know. He's one of mine. He's spoiled. I spoil him. He's ornery too. He's ornery as two left shoes. Okay. All right. Show me the clipper. Okay. Well, on the clippers, like I said, you have to, each clipper has the adjustment, but you have to go with, okay, if the clippers is closed, the clippers that are closed, that's going to give you a closer cut. Then you walk them down a little bit at a time, and the more that you, I made you an edit and I send it to you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate the you sending me that. God bless you. God bless you. But when you close them, it's going to be a shorter cut. I mean, it's going to be a closer cut. When you open them, then you're at a higher level where it's not taking off much hair. But when you close it, it's going to take off a lot of hair. So that's what you want to be mindful of, is what, how you're actually, cutting it. Because like myself, I'm opening this halfway because I want to make sure that we have a good blend, and I don't want to cut too deep. But he literally has different thickness in his head. He has, like in this area, some of this area is really heavy, versus what was down here, which was a lot lighter. It wasn't as heavy. And then he has a lot of thickness up in here, in the very top where his crown is at, where I put the part at. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm working out the line. Okay, now some parts of his head I'm going to have to close up the blade all together to get that line out. And you all will see it here in a minute, that there's no line. And then when I'm smoothing it, I want to open the clippers up all the way to give that smoothing effect, to smooth it out. Okay? And so you want to give yourself room for blending. That's so important, because you have got to get the line out. Because you don't want it to look like somebody took a pencil and wrote a line in his head, or a ball. So what I'm doing now is I'm closing it up. I'm closing the blade all the way up together. I'm closing it and adjusting it all the way down to the highest, closest level, so I can make sure I get the line out. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the blade. I'm going to open up the blade, and I'm just going to go in, and I'm just going to start sliding up. Hold your head down just like so. I'm just going to open up. I got the blade totally open now. Okay, you see there's no line. But what I'm doing now is I'm opening up the blade so I can smooth it out. I want it to be smooth looking. I want everything to be smooth. So I'm just opening up the blade to the point that if it's any pickety little pieces of hair that remotely is hanging around, I can make sure that I've got them. Okay? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here on this side, and I'm going to work on making sure that I got everything smoothed out. And then what I'm going to do, because of the cowlick is right here, this is where the hair rolls in a swivel. So then I'm just going to hold it just like so, and just kind of ease the clippers around that area. Just ease it around there, because I need it to look like the hair all belongs to each other without making it look crazy or making it stick up later. I mean, after you start cutting hair for a while, you'll get used to your clippers. It took me a minute. I tell you, I'm not gonna lie about it. I was a nervous wreck when I first started, because you don't want to mess anybody's hair up, and you're like, oh my God, am I gonna? Oh, thank you, you're great. Oh, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Yeah, so So you want to make sure that you don't want to mess up anybody's hair. So you want to make sure that you have the time. And I don't get in a hurry. I don't get in a hurry either. I don't know. I don't get in a hurry when I'm doing clipper cuts or any kind of hair, because I do all types of hair. But I don't get in a hurry because I like to take my time, because if I take my time, I can better see. It gives me an opportunity to just see where I need to, work on stuff. So you want to take your time and you want to be able to see what it is that you need to work on. Okay, now let me turn you around this way. Okay, I'll turn you all the way around this way. Okay, so now, alrighty. Now what I'm doing now, I'm just going through to make sure that we have a good clean canvas. I call him my canvas. This is my baby, but he's a good canvas. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. He's a good little canvas. I'm going to make sure he's right and tight. Okay, because I need all of this to come together from one side to the next. All of it should come together to the point that it all looks like it belongs to each other. That's what I always say. We want to make sure that it's right and tight. Okay. So I can kind of see. I'm turning them around now so I can kind of see if you got any lines going anywhere that shouldn't be. Okay. And you guys remember where the lines was at. We don't have them now. And another thing too you need to be careful for is the moles, the different moles that is in their heads. Be careful of that. So you want to know how to maneuver and operate on the moles and all of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do his cut. And then because he has excessive, I just got mixed up with the different size combs and I get so nervous. Okay, you know what? When it comes to the different size of combs, all right, on the clippers, I mean on the actual clipper cuts, you're gonna use, these are the two major combs that you're gonna use when you're doing clipper cuts. These are the two major combs. If you have, like I use a lot of this. I use these size because it's easier for me to keep a hold to what I'm doing. I can use these too, okay? But if I use these, you can't see it really. If I use Okay, when I use this comb, when I use the smaller comb, to me, I can better operate. He doesn't have like excessive hair, but if someone has excessive hair, then usually I will use this. I use these because these are smaller, and then it helps me where I can blend a lot quicker. Like right now, I'm in the process. Right now, I'm in the process of actually. I'm in the process of using this comb again because I need to blend. I need to blend out all of this right in here on his hair, on the side here. I need to blend it. So I will take, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I will lift, what I do is I lift up this hair and I lift it up, I lift it up and I lift it out toward me. When I lift it out toward me, I'm only gonna see so much hair in the comb. And that's what I wanna get rid of. Yes, yes, the cutting comb, yes. So what I wanna do is I wanna go and I wanna lift that hair up. I wanna lift it up, but I wanna bring it out. When I bring it out, it's gonna let me see all the excess hair that needs to be cut where I can blend better. And then you have to learn how to turn your comb vertical and horizontal, okay? So you want to be able to go in and pick that hair up. That excess hair is going to come on that comb, and that's what you want to get rid of. It's not that much. And you only want to pick up so much hair. When you pick it up, it's going to be a lot. You're going to pick it up, but then you're going to fold it towards you. When you fold it towards you, it's going to only be a little hair, and that's the hair that you want to cut. You don't want to pick it up and then cut the whole thing, because when you cut the whole thing, that's how you put a hole in that area. I've done it, I can tell you. That's how you put a hole in that area, and then you have to figure out how to realign it so you can't do a fade on it. You don't want to do that. You just want to pick it up. I know how to do it a lot better now, so I can pick it up and do it either or. But as a rule, since I'm showing you how to do it, this would be the best way to do it. Pick it up and then turn it towards you. And when you turn it towards you, this is going to let you know, oh, okay, this is what I need to cut off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I have all of that done, I've gotten, well, I do see a little speck of a line right in here, just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to turn it all the way in to the lowest, but I'm going to take it middle ways on my blade. And I'm taking it and I'm just kind of going over. And sometimes it's good when you're cutting the hair, it depends on how the grain of the hair is. It's good to cut at an angle sometimes, because you can get it out a lot faster when you do it at an angle. And then come back in, but I've learned how to cut at an angle. And I'm cutting and turning him around at the same time, okay, at an angle. Now I can see, and I'm opening up my blade to the highest point because I done cut that out. So now what I want to do is make sure that the blend is perfect. Okay, now that we have that done, now I'm going to do the edge. I'm going to edge him out. Hold your head down like so. Okay? So now we did the edge, okay? Hello, son. Good seeing you. Okay, send me a bill. Great lesson. Okay. I'll do that for you. She said, send me a bill. Great lesson. All right. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm edging him out. Okay. So we want to make sure that his edge is sharp. So, and I want to say this about the edge. You know, you want to, because the guys wear different ways that they wear their hair. He wears his all the way up to the edge of his head. So I got rid of all that hair, and then I go in and I edge him. Now I'm going to go back in with some different trimmers, and I'm going to make sure that that's lined up perfectly, okay? So now I'm going to do his other side. And then what has to happen is I have to actually, to do this side over here, I have to go into the interior of his front to give him a perfect edge so to look like. So to look like all of that works. And another thing too, when their hair, when they have been getting their hair cut too much or not cut appropriately, to do a line, you have to make it up as you go. I do that too sometimes. I make them up. And then they start growing their edges out right. And so when I get through with this haircut, what I'm going to also do, I'm going to get off alive, and then I'm going to get reset up, and then I'm going to come back, and he has what they call crepe skin. And so then when I come back, I'm going to show you how to take care of that if you have a client that has excess acne in their neckline. I'm gonna talk about that when I get through with this cut, and I'm going to show you what needs to happen to make sure that this is properly taken care of, okay? All righty. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I use the trimmers to get that cut in there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these trimmers and I'm just going to kind of swipe up to make sure that this is so clean. It's a good clean look on him. And then I'm going to go around his ears and all of that. Then I'm going to hold your head down just one more time for you. Because I just want a good clean look for him. Okay. Now, the way that he wears his hair on the top is another thing. Okay? Okay, Billy. So what I'm going to do, because of the way he wears his hair, okay, the way that he wears his hair on the top, he wears it over on the side like so. Okay? You want to get up so we're going to move the chair so you guys can see. Move it over. Yeah. Okay, move it over just a little bit more. Okay, we're going to move the chair over so I can do the top and you guys can see. Come on and sit down. There we go. Okay, now you guys can see his top a little bit better. Okay, because the way he wears his hair on the top and he wears it to the side, over to the side like so. Okay, he wears it to the side. Turn your head all the way around. Okay, you guys see that? He wears it all the way to the side like a comb over. Okay, but it's not, his comb over is really not a comb over to the point that you would normally think it as a comb over because the way that I cut it. Okay, he doesn't have to comb it over because it's automatically, it's cut a certain way and it's defined that way, so it's going to automatically do it anyways. So he doesn't have to do that, okay? So he wears his hair. He wears his hair, and we've been growing it out. We've been growing his hair out for a minute on the top. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, give me that water bottle just real quick. I'm going to spray a little water on his top. I'm going to dazzle him down just a little bit, okay? I'm going to spray a little water on his top. I cut his hair dry too sometimes. It just depends on what I'm doing. Okay. Because I want you guys to see how clean this is. This is so clean. I mean, it's clean. How? Isn't it clean? Yes. So what I'm going to do, because the way that he wears his hair, I'm going to use thinning shears. I'm going to use thinning shears. And what I'm going to do with the thinning shears is I'm going to lift his hair. I'm going to actually lift his hair up. I'm going to lift it up like so. Because I'm going to lift it up, and then I'm just going to snap. I'm just going to snap at his ends and just that little bit of hair. I'm just going to snap at it because the way he wears his hair and the effect of how he combs it, because when it's dry, he'll lift it up. He'll lift it up like so. And because once it dries and he takes his fingers and he'll run through his hair a certain way, it'll automatically fold and do like it needs to do. So I'm going to just go through, like I said, and I'm just going to hit the ends. That's all I'm doing. I'm just hitting the ends. I'm not cutting it. I'm just going to snap at the ends just a little bit. Okay? Just a little bit. Not that much. Okay. So now that we have that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with the clippers over comb, because of the way that he wears his hair. I'm going to come back with the clipper of the comb. Now see, now I can see. I can see how that hair is lifted and off. And so I'm going to come back in with the clipper of the comb, and I'm going to put the clippers all the way to the total end, to the very closest cut possible, okay? I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to take that hair, and I'm going to lift that hair all the way up. And I'm going to do it from the front to the back, because I need to make sure that we don't have excess heavy hair, because we need to make sure that the blend is the same. All right. Then I'm going to take my other little trimmers. And I'm going to hold this hair up in the front, so that way I can go in and I can edge out his front. So that's what I'm doing now. And when you edge it out, because of the way he wears his hair, I'm not going all the way in. I'm just going in and I'm just tapping the edges. That's all I'm doing. I'm just tapping the edges. And when I tap the edges, they're folding down. They're actually folding down on their own because of the way that I'm tapping them. Okay? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going through and I'm looking to see any excess hair that needs to be literally tapped down. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a cleanup up in here. And then sometimes you have to have the blade to go to the side and hold it with your fingers like so, And then just go to the side and just glide it. Just glide the blade. Okay? Now that's totally clean. That is so clean. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is since I've already worked on that front on this side, now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to make sure that these sides are even and they're running the same way to make sure that they're straight from one corner of the front to the next, even though he has his hair cut a certain way. I need to still make sure that those corners and those edges are looking like they all belong to each other. Okay. All right. Now, how does that look? Abby, how is that? Does it look good? All right, you guys. This is Foster. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off of live. Foster, how is that?
It's wonderful.
It looks wonderful. Foster said it looks, tell him, Foster.
It's right and tight.
It's right and tight. Okay, he said it's right and tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get him prepared. I'm going to get off of here. Give me about 5 minutes. Oh, he said, very beautiful done. Okay, thank you. I'm going to come back. Give me about 5 to 7 minutes and let me get everything straightened out because I do different on his neckline. And I take my time and I do it. And I need to explain that to you all. If you're dealing with guys that has excessive oil that's coming in their neckline to the point that they've been picking at it or whatever, and now they have what they call crepe scalp, crepe neck, where the flesh is separating because of the pimples and so forth. So what I try to do is I try to teach them how important it is to take care of that. And that needs to be taken care of on a daily basis on top of that. I will say that. But we're going to get off of here for a minute and let me get him set up. And then I'll be right back. Okay. And then I'm going to show you guys what to do when you're dealing with a person that has excessive acne on their neck. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for coming on and appreciate the likes. And he's right and tight, but we're going to come back and we're going to finish him up, okay? All right, so I'm going to deal with the last portion of it because this is what I do. When I do his hair, I have to do extra because of his skin on his neck from his hairline. So I try to make sure that I take care of it properly so it won't become an irritant. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you guys how to do that too. Okay, I'll be right back in about 5 minutes. All right. Love you with the love of Christ. Bye-bye.